we'll call the meeting to order in Animal Services Tuesday, August 20th. Do a roll call.
Cahill. Desart. Here. Echo.
Here.
Garcia. Here. Krajewski.
Here.
Rutland.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. I'll move on. Do we have any sign in for public comment?
No public comment.
No public comment. Chairman's remarks, just a couple of things. We're gonna have our budget presentation today from Laura. I think, in the presentation, I'll talk about if we're gonna, maybe increase the rabies tag fees potentially. And then looking for moving into the shelter, not sure exactly what all the needs will be, but just anticipating. First and foremost, the most important thing is we need to get another vet tech on board, to help, with the amount of surgeries that are being done. The plan is you'll hear from Laura once the vet tech is up and running on board, and they're then looking to bring a second vet on board to help with all the additional surgeries, and maybe also starting to look at potentially low-cost vetting services to provide to the community. Laura will talk more in depth about that. And then a third position, not exactly sure what it would be, but just to have it there once we get in the new building and see. And again, it'll take about a year, and then we'll see what the operations look like. In addition, I'm gonna touch on one more thing. I don't know if Laura will even talk about it, but there seems to be maybe a lot of the municipalities bring their stray animals to us. Recently, Village of Hinsdale, maybe Burr Ridge, Clarendon Hills, Westmont, some of them would take them to Hinsdale Humane Society, drop their strays off there. Hinsdale now is, I think, raised their price to like $700 a stray. Is that the number, 700?
Drop them off?
To drop them off, yes. And so they've told everybody to start bringing them. They told the municipalities, or well, Hinsdale to start bringing their animals here now. Laura had to go last week to talk to Hinsdale because there was some issues with maybe field facility, et cetera, but we'll get those moved over. But Elk Grove Village also has about 2 blocks in DuPage County. They were taking their animals to, what was the rescue up there?
It was actually the animal hospital named Gulf Rose Animal Hospital.
They've raised theirs to like $1,000 per animal.
This is for private people to read?
No, strays that the police
Okay.
department picks up. So now the police departments are now taking them here instead of, and so we have a lot of that.
Who's?
Yeah, that's what I'm
supposed to
not
pay the fee?
clear on.
Taxpayer.
The police department is supposed to pay
Village,
the fee?
correct, yeah, the village. So now they're bringing them here. So given that, we have a antiquated fee structure also for all these municipalities, and that's something Laura's gonna be looking at. There's multiple, like if it's 10 days, 3 days, 2 days, et cetera, to try to one, simplify it, and then let our municipal partners know this is what the number is gonna be. But that's something that we're seeing now, that a lot more animals potentially are gonna be coming here because some of the local municipalities who have been working with shelters are raising their prices dramatically.
Ryan, do we charge anything?
We charge a small amount,
We
right?
do. It's not a sustainable fee structure.
And in the.
But
village
we
is paying
only, we only charge the police departments for the animals that they bring us. We don't charge them. So let's take West Chicago, for example. If West Chicago PD brings us an animal that doesn't get reclaimed, they're charged for that.
How much?
It's $15 a day board plus an outcome fee. So it can range anywhere from, because sometimes they'll also hold the dog for a day or two, let's say, and then we don't charge, we take that off. So, and we cap the $15 a day. We never charge more than what that 7-day stray hold period is.
And what's a hold fee?
So anyway, it can range
Or I'm sorry,
anywhere.
not a hold fee. You said the hold fee is $15 a day. You
Oh,
said,
outcome fee.
Outcome fee.
Yeah,
What is an outcome
so, we only charge for vaccines if vaccines were given, or if the pet was euthanized, euthanasia fee. So it can range anywhere from $15 up to $150, $170.
But that's something that's gonna be coming forward to us. I just wanted to point
Yeah,
that out,
yeah.
that we're gonna start to see a little more influx now because of the partners that municipalities had been working with, dropping their strays off. And again, it's probably better to have it closer to home, but regardless, we're gonna take a look at that. So that'd be something, just give the board a little thing that's coming forward.
But no initial fee on intake.
No, because if
Just
if
whatever the
pet is
charge is
reclaimed,
at.
then we don't charge the police department
Got
at
it,
all,
okay.
because we're hoping to reclaim those fees from the pet owner. But if a resident from that town brings us the animal, we get nothing. It's only if a policeman is bringing it
Gotcha.
to us. Does that make
And
sense?
so what's the fee if a surrender fee for an individual?
For dogs and cats, it's $50.
Well, I'm just thinking, West Chicago has a stray dog problem.
Yeah.
Maybe if we charged a little more, they might be a little more proactive solving that problem in the community.
Yeah, we're exploring a couple different
Okay.
options for, how we can address community issues. And I think when we get to that point, trying to let the municipality see the full breadth of services that we're providing the
Right,
residents would, I think, be a good.
So that'll be
fit.
coming forward to us, and, I know there's been, people have been taking more tours, if anybody hasn't been over the building, take a look at
Come
it,
see it.
slowly.
Oh,
Slowly
Cages are
started
going
moving a little
in.
bit of stuff in, the garage has stuff
Oh,
filled in, I think some of the kittens and cats have been moved into what's gonna be the dog area, but just temporarily, while they're starting to do a little bit of work internally, so that's getting exciting, I
Do you
think.
have to like go outside to go?
No, we have
around?
some.
Get to the garage through
doorways.
there's some
Oh,
secret
okay.
passageways. I was there Friday, I think, last week, and I found some secret doors. It's,
You want us to call ahead, I would assume?
It's helpful just to make sure I'm not in a meeting, but
Okay.
yeah. thank
And
you.
we're still on track for the September, right?
Well, moving in.
No,
and-
I'll address that during.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's talk
our-
about that.
yeah.
Moving in there. So we'll move on to our approval of our minutes. Get a motion to approve our
Second.
June 18th minutes. Okay, any questions, additions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Move on to procurement request. Motion for 2190.
So moved.
Pet health service.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Decrease this one and, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Move on to 6B, 2191. If I get a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, that motion carries. Last, move on get a motion on ASP 0001-24, recommendation approval contract.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any
Chime in
questions,
anytime.
comments?
Yeah, Grant, are you?
All in favor, say aye. Move on to our budget transfer. We got a motion for our budget transfer 242201.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Or we need a roll call, so you can hear Grant say aye. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, motion carries. All right, move on to the budget presentation for next year, fiscal 2025.
Yeah.
Laura,
Yeah, so we saw another increase in our animal intake. It's kind of been a trend since pandemic restrictions were lifted. However, we did get our first year of technically being considered no-kill. We had 92% live release rate.
Yay.
And as a reminder, no-kill has to be 90% or higher. So, we got a little plaque, but I shoved it in a drawer because, well, I think we're all really proud that we hit that kind of a label. Once again, it's just a label, right? Like we want to make sure that we are treating each animal as an individual and trying to find the best outcomes and providing the best care. So, and really the only reason why we're able to do this kind of work is because we have outstanding staff, dedicated volunteers, and a community of donors and people that share animal stories that are really making the difference there. So we really appreciate everything that they've done. When it comes to the kind of services we're providing, expanding our outreach into our communities continues to be our top priority, as we were just talking about all the resources we're trying to get into communities that we know need it. We treated over 600 animals outside of just our regular intake animals. A big bulk of that being our partnership with Feral Fixers. We get that vehicle operational pretty much April through the end of October. Just trying to do as many cats as possible. And then some of that is also some post-adopt services. We adopt an animal out, maybe it still has some sniffles or it's got some symptoms that the adopter is concerned about. We really want to be dedicated to supporting that adopter, making sure that is a success. And so Dr. Hannick's been very generous in continuing to provide some care. We were just talking about reclaim fees and strays. So we continue to have to evaluate reclaim fees or surrender fees on a case-by-case basis. And we find a lot of people are experiencing financial hardship, housing crisis. And so, we know that if we don't work with them, those animals run the risk of being abandoned outside, and they're either going to come to us anyway through the police departments or residents bringing them. But this way, when we're taking them directly from a pet owner, we get really good history hopefully on that animal. We did just under 400 spay neuter vouchers, which includes vaccines and microchips. I want to say, I like to remind this group that we have the most comprehensive, absolutely free program in the state of Illinois. I have other people that live in other counties that say, why doesn't Cook give me a totally free? I just get a coupon. Like, we have a completely free program. And our hope is when we're doing that for our residents, we're reducing that pet populations. We don't have as many unwanted.
Just a reminder
litters.
for any animal that's not spay or neutered, when they get the vaccine, was an extra $10.
Mhm.
It's an extra $10. The state of Illinois required it to be charged on that, and that goes into a pet population fund, which is then required to be used for the free program that is offered to low income. I think they have to qualify.
They have to qualify SNAP benefits or social security
And
disability.
then we provide, they can go to any, they
Spay and neuter.
Exactly.
can go to any veterinarian in their neighborhood, and then we reimburse the vet through that fund.
Right. And then part of that community outreach commitment is increasing our educational opportunities. We've kept some of the virtual ones since the pandemic, but really this current year, we've really stepped up our in-person, even partnering with libraries, as we've talked about. So that is a priority for us going into next year as well. So
Didn't we just recently do an event in Lombard?
we did.
Spay and neuter, or no, we did a microchipping.
We have another one actually in West Chicago, this coming Saturday. So, so you've got your, budget documents in front of you. So obviously our budget requests have been increasing, a big majority of it being our capital project. And then we know that we're going to have some increased operating expenses. One of our proposals and how we're going to pay for these increased expenses are some fee adjustments. So, we're looking at an increase of our rabies registration tag fees, which is really going to be where the bulk of our increased revenue comes from here. We sell rabies tags, the majority through our vet partners. And then we have some over-the-counter, as we say, sales or online sales. So we're looking at a modest increase of 1-year altered tags from 15 to 18. Intact tags from 40 to 45, 3-year altered 40 to 45, and 3-year intact 90 to 95.
The last time we raised rates was 2017.
Yeah, so it's been a really quite a while since we've raised rates.
I know that was, I think,
Alternate intent.
So if your pet is not spayed or neutered,
Oh, that's
there is a
fee.
higher
Okay,
fee.
I got it.
Higher,
Yeah.
actually.
so we did a fee study when we were trying to figure out where we should land, because even though we haven't raised them in 7-8 years, we've still kind of been at the top end compared to other counties in the state of Illinois. These adjustments to 18, 45, and 95, they still keep us kind of at the top end. There are a couple other counties that are in line with us, similar sized counties. But once again, if this is the bulk of how we are being funded right now, we are a county that is providing the widest breadth of services to our residents. So, and then we have a couple adoption fees, just seeing what other shelters and rescues are charging. We do have a lot of fee waived adoptions or things that we do throughout the year. Right now, we're participating in Clear the Shelter, so you can adopt a pet for $10. But we hope that with this increase in our adoption fees, things kind of even out a little bit more, right? Yeah.
on there with the, remember Rutledge brought it up, the altered one, or the intact ones, it's, if I'm looking at it right, maybe like 7,000-8,000 total animals. Is that, do you know if that's a normal amount for a population of 1 million people? Are we high end, low end?
So we
And I
did,
think, remember, I was getting to the point of, do we raise it a little more as an encouragement to, or a penalty for that?
so we did a brief study back in 2018 or 2019 with a company called DuPage when we were just exploring what options look like to outsource our registration compliance. And that had come back that we actually had a higher than normal compliance rate compared to other counties across the
The
country.
compliance rate, I meant the 8,000 intact animals.
Yeah, so, and it's more than 8,000, right? So we also have our 1-year intact. And I think you're looking at
I
the,
was looking at quantity, so 119, 80, 5320, and 1730.
oh, you're doing math up there, got it. Yeah.
Just adding up all that.
Yeah, I don't know when we did that study, we didn't divide it out between intact animals versus altered animals. What we do find is people that aren't spaying and neutering their pets, they aren't always going to the vet, right? And if you're not going to the vet, you're not getting a vaccine, which means you're not in compliance and registering that vaccine with us. So it's not surprising to us that we see probably lower compliance rates with animals that are intact compared to animals that are fixed already. It just kind of goes along with your whole mentality about how people are managing their budgets or prioritizing vet care.
But that's the other issue, one of the other issues with regards to the veterinarians is they were putting on their, like, let's just use the 1 year alter, $15. They would put on there like $45 rabies tag fee. Well, they used to break it out where they'd say $15 plus their surcharge of 30. And people were asking or making comments about that. Why is it so much of a surcharge? And so now they're just putting a lot of the vet bills, $45 DuPage County rabies tag fee. Makes it look like we're charging that. So I think that's something we're looking at with the state's attorney. Can we force them to break it back out and they can only charge on the bill what we actually charge?
Sure.
Because they're making a big markup, which almost looks like it's the county charging that type of.
Or
fee.
can we cap the surcharge? And,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what's in our power, but our state's attorney's office is looking at that, so. Any other questions on the fee increases? This is a big part of it.
I'm wondering if, sorry,
No, go ahead.
I'm wondering if, there's no fee increase proposed for cats? Is that why they're not on there?
So cats are our largest species we take in at the shelter, and sometimes the type of pet where so many people are just procuring them on their own, outside from family and friends. We wish we could charge more for cats, but when we are just packed to the gill cats, and we just want to move the cats out.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no, but that's a good question. Another area of a new opportunity for revenue is going to be our great community spaces in the new building. I know, isn't that gorgeous? For those of you that haven't seen it, they've done a lot of planting and everything already. So we have this new community room that also opens up to an outdoor space. And we just see that there's so many endless opportunities for us to engage with the public. We already have our outreach person putting together a menu of options that include not just educational opportunities, but maybe we're incorporating dog training, birthday parties, and ways to engage our corporate community to come, they bring their employees in for a fee, they do some give back, they do some enrichment items, volunteer. So in addition to rental fees, how do we increase our education opportunities? I just think this is a really great
Just
space.
with that, I've asked the state's attorney to take a look at that program for us to allow to have corporate events and events there. So we as a board are gonna have to make a decision, like choose DuPage, like maybe hold their holiday party there. But, and Connor's done all the research, but we need as a board to decide policy wise. Are we gonna allow, alcohol to be brought into the facility? Can they bring it in, cater it in for events? We would have to make sure we change, whatever our policy to allow that. So get some feedback from what the board thinks here. And it's
Well, what is the policy on the rest of campus?
Probably is none, or it's, and our risk management, we get in and require certificate of insurance, and then would we require, is there one caterer to do it all? Can you bring your own caterers in to do it? A number of things like that. So, is it gonna be DuPage County, or will we allow catering service? I'm sure the catering services are all been approved by our health department. But those are some things that we as a board, probably ask the animal services what committee thinks, and then our full board would have to make a decision on that. And probably want us to do that sooner than later, so we can have it ready when this comes, so.
We drafted up a whole policy for the DuPage County Museum. Because I don't know if any of you've been there, but the second floor is this big open area.
I'm on the board there and we're having a fundraiser there on November 7th.
Yeah, so
And
there's
we
already,
are allowing alcohol.
so there's a whole
Beer and
policy,
wine.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a big
The whole
issue, we just, the board's gonna have to decide to
there's a
do
whole
that.
policy written for that, so you don't have to start from scratch.
Were you on the
Okay.
board?
In ancient times.
Oh, interesting.
So, but Connor's done all the research on just things that we'll have to look to do as a
Right.
board, so
Yeah.
just rough thoughts, everybody okay with having
Absolutely.
alcohol brought on,
Heck yeah.
catering events?
We're doing fundraisers there.
Do you want people to
Everybody
call?
else?
Enthusiastic.
and exposing people to the animals, so they're like,
Well, that's,
remember the
Yeah.
animals that got adopted out during the gala?
Yeah,
I mean, this
yeah.
would be a great
well, that was
opportunity
Laura's
for
thought
people
too,
to
with
be
the
exposed to
corporate
the animals.
companies could do events there
Sure.
and, you know, during the day, and then also have, you know, the ability to see the ones on the side that are up, like the cat room and kids for
What do you
adoption,
think the max occupancy would be?
150, I think.
Okay,
Depends on if we're opening up
Yeah,
you have to get
outside.
special use permits for anything. I think it's over 80 people if we're using both the inside and the outside spaces. A lot of it depends on bathrooms to people ratios and we have a divider that can split the community room in half, so we could,
And
if we
this
were doing
is
birthday
in-
parties, we could have
Smaller
two
groups.
birthday
Yeah, yeah.
And this
parties.
is in the
going.
village of Winfield, so I think, there may be, something we have to work with, the Winfield and creating a certain license too, I think Connor mentioned in that, but I'll send out his research to everybody that he's
Yeah.
done, the things that we're gonna have to look at for that.
And, you know-
Brookfield Zoo does it.
The DuPage Historical Museum that Grant was talking about, their capacity is only 100. So this is a.
We
great
actually
opportunity.
hosted our volunteer
Yeah,
appreciation
yeah.
there a couple of years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
It was a really nice
Yeah,
event,
yeah.
a nice space, so.
So,
And then finally, with our partnership with DuPage Animal Friends, we're hoping to increase our fundraising capacity. We're so grateful for all of the work that their board members and volunteers do. You know, they came back really strong this year with the Raise the Roof Gala, raising over $320,000. And that had been the first in-person event since 2016. So hoping to keep up that momentum. We're also going to be with our new foundation coordinator, identifying grant opportunities. There's a lot of them out there for animal welfare, and we just haven't had the capacity to start trying to tap into those. And then also shoring up our budget is this $4.5 million loan that the county board.
and with those grants out there, one that I suggested was DuPage Foundation. They do a lot of ones with Adopt, Naperville Humane, Hinsdale Humane, West Suburban, for specifically a donor who put money in for mostly spades and neuters. And so there probably shouldn't be any reason why, and I think their application's open now for the fall,
Yeah,
but why we shouldn't be able to participate.
the
through
Milstein
DuPage
Foundation,
grants.
there's so many that just support, let's just say spay
I think
neuter,
it's Bork, I think
microchip,
Bork
vaccines.
Foundation, I think is the one that put
Yeah.
the money in, but they've consistently been given 20 to 25,000 to the area rescues here for programs, the same things that we do with like feral fixers.
Yeah, and those are things that we fund just out of our budget right now, and if we can get grants funding for that, it opens up that money to be paid for other things. So the expenses, right? People are what make everything happen, and as Brian mentioned, we are looking to add 3 full-time positions. I just want to share an interesting statistic. So according to Bureau of Labor Statistics, the price of urban vet care is up 11% over the last 2 years. And over the last decade, it's soared to nearly 60%. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's been really evident by the animals that we are taking in, like this little guy on the right here. Animals are coming to us in rougher and rougher shape, right? They're matted. Dr. Hannick's capacity for care is really being tested when she's trying to provide best care, but that time is also now we're doing eye inoculations, we're doing mask removals, all that post-adoption care. So I think what Member Krajewski said, adding a new vet tech, and then that third position as we kind of get settled in to figure out where we're going to land, not only helps us increase our capacity and provide best care for the animals in our shelter, we also see an opportunity once that gets rolling to maybe start providing some low-cost vet services to the public. We're not looking to compete with our veterinary community, but we definitely know that there are people that just can't afford to go to the vet. But they can afford something, right? And there are a couple other places, Spay, Illinois, South Suburban Humane Society, that have a successful model of low-cost services to qualifying people that they are still profitable with.
What you're seeing in the industry right now is there's big private equity firms and corporations buying up animal clinics. And it's becoming more corporate owned. And similar to what happened maybe 20 years ago with doctor practices, all the family doctor practices being bought up by the hospitals, and now they're big corporations running, prices are going up. You're seeing that in the industry.
Expensive. So,
I mean,
yeah,
I was looking at this last night when I was looking at some guy that owned a big golf course in Arizona, and he was pet vet, whatever companies he was on boards with, and I looked and they were doing acquisitions all over, and I know even RWE has mentioned some of the veterinarians, the places they're building for are ones that have been taken over, where these guys have been selling their practices to corporate.
So when,
Yeah, we need more of that.
animals
prices
come
are
in
going up.
scruffy like that,
Yeah,
do we have an unstaffed groomer who can groom the animal before Dr. Hannock sees them for any other health-related issues?
Yeah.
Or does Dr. Hannock have to do it all?
we've had a couple groomers offer to donate their services. We have taken some up on that. I think it'll be easier in the new space. We just haven't really had a great
Yeah,
space
no,
to
I
do that
get
in. Otherwise they get what we call the decaf special, which is
Yeah.
sometimes a little bit of a chop job, but
No, I get it,
we
but
do
I was
our
wondering
best
if-
to get them comfortable.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it would just be one less thing for Dr. Hannock.
Of
and-
course, yeah. And sometimes our care staff is the one doing it. It's, if Dr. Hannock is getting involved, it's usually because we've had to sedate that pet. So, and just because I know so many of you follow us on social media, you know, a dog comes in looking like this and immediately there's a lot of comments. They're like, you need to groom that dog now, or you need to cut those nails now. What they're not seeing is that animal is terrified, right?
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is start
Make it
poking,
worse.
prodding, making it worse. So we try to give them some time to decompress, get comfortable. We want to get to know their personality before we do too much
Absolutely.
invasive handling. Or we have to sedate them if it's bad enough, you know, we got to do it like right away, which we have done. Yeah, definitely. So, of course, with increased capacity for care and a larger building, we're going to have increased supply costs. The largest is going to be that dental, medical, and lab line when you look at the budget. A lot of our other areas, though, we're so fortunate. You know, we put out a plea for food, we get inundated with food. We put out a plea for leashes, people hop on our Amazon wish list and immediately send leashes. So we're going to continue to rely on our community to help keep some of our consumable costs down. We were talking about hiring a new vet. Our medical services on our contractual lines, I want to bring that to your attention because we're going to see this increase in 2025 for one key reason. DuPage Animal Friends has typically written us a grant that we then do a lot of our third-party vet services out of. So you don't normally see that in our regular budget. However, with their new focus with capital campaign rate, you know, raising funds to pay off that loan, we aren't sure if that's where they're going to do their giving. So I've moved a lot of those third-party vet expenses back into our regular budget and out of the grant line. It's quite possible we might still get something, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention because it is something different from prior years. And then as we look to maybe hire a vet mid-year, you know, next year, we hope to see those costs decrease anyway. I'm going to rush through. Sorry, we just lost Grant.
We did.
Yep, and then once again,
Is
a
he running
larger
GPS?
facility is going to mean
Yeah.
increased
Trying to, I should-
repairs, maintenance, all that kind of stuff too. And then I want to talk about our capital project real quick. So we are actually we worked with RWE to get some estimates on invoicing for the remainder of the project. And it looks like we're going to be paying more in this fiscal year than we originally expected with this budget. So what you're going to see is in October, a resolution going in front of the board to just do the whole $4.5 million in October, so that we're not completely tapping and draining into our reserve fund. And that $4.5 million is also going to act as a cushion for us as we're kind of getting settled into the building and seeing how those expenses are gonna settle in and what our new revenue streams look like too. So October is our move-in date for the new building. And then we're hoping mid-January, the whole project is done.
Wow.
Yes.
Which was kind of, October was the original breakthrough date, was it?
It was August, like late August, or no, sorry, late July, early August. It's shifted a couple times. I do want to bring up that we got great news last night. Dr. Ludwig from Lombard Veterinary Hospital, we've been talking to her about she's in the process of moving into her new hospital, and she has a lease on a current temporary hospital with dog kennel rooms in it, and we are going to be using that space on a month-to-month basis during this next phase of construction, so we can get the dogs out of the building
Oh, good.
at a very affordable and very
Oh,
convenient. It was more than I could have asked for. She's really grateful for her generosity. Yeah, and I just wanted to share that, you know, we are, what I feel we should be very proud as a county. We are best in class, right? Best in show. We are
Right.
doing everything we can to help people and pets in our community. And I appreciate this committee's commitment to helping us do that. So any other questions?
Oh, thank you for all your hard work.
Anything on administrative update?
Yeah, well, I wanted to share Dr. Ludwig's generous offer. She's also donating about 20 cat cages to us and a wet surgical table. So she's kind of going through her inventory as they're moving into their new hospital and seeing what they don't need. So we're so grateful for that. We're still caring for over 200 animals right now, not a comfortable place to be, especially with construction. But we're asking the community for help. And we're also going to be working on some other solutions, as I mentioned, with our municipal partners. Not something I think we can be prepared for fee changes going into this next fiscal year, but at least start laying the groundwork so we can do it in FY 2026. So.
All right, great. Thank you. Any old business?
New business.
Any new business?
Just two quick questions. First of all, did I make this up or did Representative Blowiak give us $250,000 for animal services?
There is $250,000 in the budget for animal services, yes.
She and Blowiak got it for us?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, I
awesome.
mean,
Nice.
they're
And is
I
it
guess
for animal
Can
services?
Dawn
or-
say that in the?
Yeah, can I say that in the red
I
line?
think that's what she's looking for.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
should. I've talked to her office. We're just trying to figure out like when we can get that money moved from, I think it was their DCEO. I gotta double check for but just to make sure.
And Jeremy, is it for operating or is it for the building?
It's
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So we've just put it in the budget as revenue coming in for next year.
And the other quick thing is, Naples Pride Fest is a month away, it's September 14th. I know I reached back to you like in May to see if we could have a vehicle, is that, and you said yes, so
Yeah,
is
I
it
think
still?
I'll reconnect you with Laura
Oh, good.
Winnie. Yes.
It's September
14.
14th.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes,
Yeah.
I know that's always a fun one for
Good.
us to do.
All right, that's it, thank
Everybody
you.
likes that van.
Yes, I do.
We love, well, it's so great.
Great for tailgating at a football game. It's got the thing
No,
that
no,
rolls
no.
out there.
The children love it because you have like plastic
Yeah.
Did
food
you do your motion
and the
to?
kids can.
Oh, yeah, motion to adjourn.
All right.
All in favor, aye?
The kids love